Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast, and this is episode number 68, where we talk about personal development and business all in one podcast. If that sounds like something that's super interesting to you, we drop a new episode every single Monday, so feel free to tune in every week. Start your week off right and subscribe. Today, I'm feeling really good. We have another guest on the podcast. We have a young boss, young lady, young entrepreneur. You guys definitely want to tune into this episode as she shares her unique perspective on business and life. But before we get into all that, a little bit about my guest. She is the founder and CEO of Social Flutter, a LA-based marketing agency. So welcome everybody, Sophia Collier. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for jumping on this podcast on this bright and early Saturday morning. Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm really intrigued. I came across your profile and I seen that you're young. You're a young owner, young entrepreneur. I really wanted to dive into your background, your story growing up, and really how you got your mentality of becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in a very entrepreneurial household. So,
Okay.
my mom and my dad always pushed me to be a very creative individual, to be able to, find different ways to be able to make revenue. I started throwing events since a very young age. So, I would say
Mm.
probably around 8, 9 years old, I started throwing little tea parties and little events here and there. And my dad also, read business books to me since a very young age. So, how most
Wow.
kids, get little childhood bedroom stories that are told to them since a young age. My dad read business books to me. So he was
Wow.
kind of instilling in that, in me since a very young age, which I really appreciate. Nowadays, I didn't really understand it at the time, but I think it was just kind of more so those little hidden messages that you kind of realize
Yeah.
on that in your upbringing kind of make you the person that who you are. So I'm really grateful for having, two parents who have, really encouraged and pushed me to be entrepreneurial and, to think outside the box and to be able to, create something that's bigger than myself.
Absolutely, that's crazy. So you was throwing tea parties at like 8, 9 years old. Were you charging people? Were you charging kids?
Yeah, well, I wasn't charging people for that, but I would have like lemonade and I would charge people for lemonade.
Wow.
I did crazy things since a young age. So
So
yeah.
that's dope. That your parents were always supportive of whatever you wanted to do. That's pretty dope.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Mhm.
so what exactly did you say what your parents did?
Yeah, so my mom, she has a job, she's more
Mm,
of like the, supporter provider, stable income, growing up.
yep.
My dad, he did real estate when I was growing up, and
Nice.
yeah, so I was able to see a lot of different, properties that he had and travel a lot. So that also opened my eyes to a lot of things. We used to go to Vegas, we would go to properties, in timeshares in Florida and California. So it was really eye-opening to kind of like see, him doing it firsthand.
Dope. And so at a young age, so did you grow up in LA?
I grew up in Orange County, so
Got you.
not
Got
too
you.
far from LA, but I've always been in and out of the space.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to be in entertainment, so I just decided, to make the move. And
Hmm.
yeah, I moved here in March of 2020, so this year. Kind of crazy timing to move here. I think I moved 2 weeks before lockdown and COVID hit, so it's a
Wow.
very, different experience than I was
Yeah.
expecting. But at the same time, I was able to grow so much, and I'm really really blessed to have been able to position myself in a space where I started a marketing agency during COVID and was able to help multiple businesses during this time. I was featured in Yahoo Finance as one of the top 30 entrepreneurs during COVID-19 with Grant Cardone and Ty Lopez. So yeah, COVID was honestly really a big blessing for me and
Mm.
my entrepreneurial ventures as well.
That's dope. So I'm interested so you growing up in Orange County, going to high school, and going to school and whatnot, what you knowing that your father is an entrepreneur and him reading you all these stories, how were you as a student in high school, and did you go to college afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. Great question. So yeah, I was very, very good in school actually.
Mm.
very, straight A's, maybe a couple of B's here, but I was in AP classes, like at accelerated courses. I've always been a very, very determined individual,
Yeah.
and I really love to be able to push myself. I remember, when it came to taking courses in high school, I would have, zero period. So that starts before,
Mm.
any of your other courses started, because I wanted to take so many classes that I needed to, take zero period, and I had to have after school classes. So, my first class started at like 5:55 a.m. So I
Mm.
would have to wake up at like 5 a.m. or 4:30 a.m., go to school at that time. And then, my last class of the day would be at 3:30 p.m. And then I would have to go to my other school in Orange County that I was going to study EMT. So to be able
Mm.
to actually be, in the back of paramedics and learn CPR, I was really interested in being an emergency surgeon at the time. But that completely kind of changed later on. But I've always been a very, determined individual, lots of activities. I was in show choir, so I was singing and dancing on stage. And then I was, in AP honors, math or, I
Wow.
always had so many different things going on. But I think by having so many activities, it really taught me time management and how to be able to
Mm.
manage so much on your plate. And I think that also comes from, a young age where my mom put me in a lot of activities. I was in gymnastics, I was in, keyboard, I was playing the flute, I was, trying so many different
You're
things. And
doing
my
everything.
yeah, my mom always encouraged me, to, try out different things and to see what works for me, what I liked. And I think that
Mm.
is kind of what made me more prone to being able to, try out different things and not be as, reluctant or as scared just to take on new challenges.
Got you. And so after high school, when you graduated, you was it a goal of yours to go to college, or where were you at? What was your mindset at that point?
Yeah, definitely. So I got into every school that I applied to. Um,
Wow.
I ended up going to Arizona State University for 2.5, 3 years,
Mm.
and I studied business entrepreneurship
Mm.
there. My whole major was technological entrepreneurship and management, so it was a degree between business and engineering, and I absolutely loved it. I met a lot of entrepreneurial, students, and I finally felt like I kind of met, people in my niche that really understood me. And then after that, I ended up, getting into honors. So I was part of the Barrett Honors Program, which is a really great school that helps, prepare you to kind of transfer to an Ivy League school. Where eventually I went to Draper University, which is in Silicon Valley, which is taught
Wow.
by Tim Draper, who's a billionaire. He's a third generation venture capitalist, and he's actually one of the big investors in Tesla. So he invested $250 million in Tesla. And if he hadn't invested that money, Tesla wouldn't have even existed at that point. So it's kind of crazy.
Mm.
So, through having that program and going through it, there was only 20 students in Arizona State that were accepted into that program, and I was the youngest student there. So I was like a sponge, just taking in all this information, and learning from all the people around me. And they had, a lot of guest speakers, like the CEO and founder of Starbucks, the founder of Evernote, the CEO of Pandora. So, by having access to, this network, and by being able to meet angel investors and venture capitalists, and being immersed in this Silicon, tech environment where people are creating businesses every single day, was one of the really big, stepping stones to be able to
Mm.
grow. Mm-hmm.
So I got two questions on that. So my first question is going into college and studying entrepreneurship. Did you know that this is what you wanted to do? Like, did you know you're like, I'm going to, at some point, I guess you're going to form a business at some point, but, or was it like, I'm just going to try it out type of thing?
Well, when I applied to all of my schools, I was still like really thinking about doing pre-med. I was thinking of,
Got
being an
you.
emergency surgeon, and I was not thinking about doing business at all. So when I got into Arizona
Mm.
State, I was like a health and studies major. So I was with all the science kids, and I didn't feel like it was the right fit. I don't know, something just
Yeah.
didn't feel right about it. I felt like I didn't belong. It felt like I was super out there. I wanted to go out and network with people, and I was just very social. And I felt like, those they weren't my people.
Mm.
And then I just noticed that when I was going out, there was like different dorms areas. So I was in like the health and sciences one, and then I met all the business majors, and those were like the people that I like was getting along with, and I liked,
Mm.
hanging out with them. They liked hanging out with me. So I kind of started thinking, maybe I'm not actually, a science person, and I hated bio and chemistry, honestly. It was just more so the fact that I wanted to help people, and I thought the way to help people was through science. But I went through all the different majors in Arizona State's website one day, and there's over like 270 majors on there, and I went through the list probably 3 or 4 times, and none of them stuck out to me. And I was like, I don't
Right.
know why none of these majors like make sense to me. None of them hit. But then I found this one major on there that was entrepreneurship, and I had honestly not even known what entrepreneurship meant at that time. I just knew that I
Mm.
loved creating events. I loved bringing people together. I loved being able to make lemonade and make money and to interact with people. And there was a video on there that talked about what entrepreneurship was, and I was like, oh my god, like this is me. Like how have I like
Yeah.
not known what this is? And I remember I came home one day and told my dad, like, Dad, I want to be an entrepreneur. And he just started laughing, and he was like, oh my god, like that's so funny that now you want to be it, because I was that, and
Right.
I read all these business books to you since you were such a young.
All those books paid off.
Exactly, yeah.
That's dope. So my second question was, when you went to Silicon Valley up in the Bay, uh, and you're around all these successful entrepreneurs, all these owners and CEOs, what was like the common theme that you've seen from each person? Like, what was like the common characteristic that each of these people had, that made them maybe so successful, or made them have the ability to, build a successful business? Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think the biggest thing that I saw was, being relentless
Mm.
and not giving up in the face of adversity. By hearing, the CEO of Starbucks, his story, and him talking about how he built the company from, the ground up. It was very much so based off of passion and a need in the market. And he had a passion for coffee. Like that was really
Mm.
his biggest thing, is he was in love with what he did. And he built it because he was in love with it. He saw a need in it, and he didn't give up in the face of adversity. So I think the most common thing that I saw is, you are going to have a lot of failures, but it's just a matter of continuing and pushing past those boundaries, learning from your mistakes, learning from your failures, and that there's really no such thing as failure. At the end of the day, is a common thing that I heard among
Mm.
all the entrepreneurs that I met. All of them really said, it's all feedback. It's not failure, it's feedback.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really important lesson that I learned while I was there.
Yeah, that's really good, because for myself, I don't look at my failures as failures. I look at it as just lessons, and just like you said, feedback. Something I'm being taught something here. So that's pretty dope. So how long were you in that program for?
Yeah, so it was an incubator like setting. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like a 3 or 4 month program. It's basically one semester that you kind of study
Mm.
abroad versus being in college. So 20 students
Wow.
were from Arizona State, and then 20 students were from different countries all over the world. So it was a really great experience, because I was able to, be in classes with, my students that were from Brazil. We had some from India. We had some from, Pakistan, some from China, and being immersed in an environment where everyone is very different, but is all based on the same ultimate goal of entrepreneurship and learning how to build a business, was really great, and taught me a lot in terms of communication skills, how to
Yeah.
interact with different cultures, and being able to see that people have different ways of going about things. And I think the biggest thing that I learned in that program was, there isn't just one way to solve a problem. There's multiple ways
Mm.
of solving a problem, but there's different creative strategies that you can really come up with to get to the solution.
Dope, dope. So after that program wraps up, do you go back to school, or how many more years do you have left of college?
Yeah, definitely. So after that program, I went back to Arizona State, and
Mm.
I just felt,
Your
I don't
mind was probably like blown. You're probably like, damn, this is crazy. Like
exactly.
I.
Well, actually, now that I remember, while I was in that program, they had another program that was for the U.S. Department of State, that was putting on an event for the top, entrepreneurs in the United States and the top entrepreneurs in China. And I believe only 40 or 50 people were selected, and I got selected to go. And again, I was the youngest person to be a part of that entrepreneurship program. Some people were multimillionaires already had their companies established, were looking for millions of dollars in funding. And I was just this like 18-year-old girl at the time that's just like interested in entrepreneurship. So when I got accepted, that was even a crazier experience, because then I actually went to go to China. So, I went to Hong
Wow.
Kong, I went to Shenzhen, I went to Guangzhou, and I interacted with some of the, top, entrepreneurs in China, where they're creating virtual reality, they're creating augmented reality, they're creating so many different technologies that are coming out that it makes your head spin. So it just showed me how endless everything was, to be able to really create these ideas and concepts that are proven in the market. So
Mm.
after going to that program, and I met the founder of Airbnb, I met the ambassador of
Wow.
China, and then I was just like on this rush. I was on this high, because I just gone to Silicon Valley, lived there,
Mm.
met all these amazing entrepreneurs. Then I went to China, met all these amazing entrepreneurs in a different country. And when I went back to school in Arizona State, I was just like, it was just like a completely different energy. I just felt
Mm.
like I had just learned so much in this past 4-month period, and now I was back in a classroom, and I was like going to school every day, and I was
Mm.
sitting in my classes, and I felt like I just wasn't learning anything. I was just like, I want to go build a business, I want to go build multi-million-dollar companies, and I just felt like I need thing, so
Mm.
I just couldn't sit still at that point. Um,
Right.
so then at that point, that's when me and one of my friends who had gone to the program together actually ended up starting a company together, because we were both accepted. We were both female entrepreneurs. She was 10 years older than I was. But she, wanted to build a business, and we couldn't sit still. So we ended up spending most of our time, at her place, at my place, just like entrepreneurship style, just like sitting at a table, figuring out what type of business to build, versus working on our homework. So that's when,
Mm.
for the first time, I started slacking in school. I wasn't
Mm.
getting like a 3.8, 4.0, 4.2 GPA, because I was so invested in building a company at that time. So it was very hard for me, to be able to transition back into that. So I ended up taking a semester off from school at the end of that, because I just felt like I wasn't learning, and I just wanted to build a company. I actually ended up moving back to, my parents' house in Orange County, going, back and forth to LA, because I was looking to build a company in the entertainment space. But I was still 18 at the time, 18.
Wow.
So I wanted to build an events company, so we were in the process of building that. We were also accepted as an alpha company in Collision, which is a really great conference where a lot of entrepreneurs who are looking for funding look for investment from big investors. So we were going to get 50,000 in investment to start the project and everything. And then she actually just had a change of heart. It was kind of crazy, because we were on the verge of getting, funding and starting this, and she had a change of heart, and she was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to, live a 9 to 5 life. I want to get
Mm.
married. And she was 10 years older than I was. So, I was
Yeah.
18, she was 28, 29, kind of having that, midlife type of crisis when you turn
Yeah.
30. So she wanted to, get married, be with her kids, and she just had a change of heart. So, I was kind of stuck in the middle. Like, we were about to get funding. I had just lost my co-founder. I didn't know what to do. I just dropped out of college, and I was just like, oh my
Mm.
God, this is like all a mistake. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But, so then I ended up just kind of like, waiting it out for a little bit, really thinking about what I wanted to do. Ended up going back to school the next semester. And I started a fashion company. So a completely different
Mm.
company, really from a need of being able to help women in the fashion space who were modest. So I had a lot of friends growing up who were Muslim, who wore hijabs or abayas, or
Mm.
just needed to be able to dress more conservatively due to religious beliefs. And I saw that there was really no fashion out there for girls in middle school or girls in high school who want to be trendy and modern, because when you think about it, everything is crop top, short shorts, ripped jeans.
Mm.
There's not a lot of alternatives
Yeah.
for girls who are modest. So I wanted to create a company that was very fashion forward, but at the same time still respecting people's beliefs and being able to help them dress modestly. So we ended up I got 15,000 in funding for that as a grant from my school at Arizona State. And I used that to be able to build my company. That's when I started doing trade shows and conventions in Chicago, trade shows and conventions in California and Arizona. I started making money from it. I had 4 interns working for me. So
Wow.
it's just learning lessons, along the way.
Yeah.
You learn from your businesses and you accelerate even more in each business.
So so what made you stop the fashion business?
Yeah,
So
so
what happened? Like, are you is it still in the process, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I still own a fashion company. It's called Suture
Got you.
Fashion. Biggest thing that I had was a very big pushback from the community. So it was more so,
Mm.
a issue, due to the fact that I wasn't Muslim and I was working in a Muslim industry. A
Mm.
lot of, the individuals wanted me to convert. They wanted me to be Muslim in order to do business with them. So it was more so like a pushback from the community, I would say.
Wow,
And
that's interesting.
yeah, it was a little hard being able to work in the
Hmm.
space after some time. Um, but I still have that business. I still have a lot of suppliers in that, but I just realized that I would rather work in a space that I had passion for, which has really always been entertainment. It's always been in
Hmm.
the event space, and I wanted to always live in LA. So that was pretty recent. After that happened, I moved to Los Angeles in March, and that's when I actually started Social Flutter with my business partner.
Hmm.
So it's basically a marketing agency where we specialize in um, growing influencers, growing brands, growing artists. We help verify them in all social media platforms. We do articles and publications, get them featured in articles like Business Insider,
Mm.
Forbes, grow their social media following. So we have a lot of resources to be able to grow brands and individuals organically to be able to get more overall reach. So we're actually in the middle of a rebranding right now. It's called Ace of
Mm.
Spades. So that's kind of more of like the hint of the magic touch that we have from my business partner Jay, and yeah, we're really excited to be pumping out a lot of exciting new things in the marketing space soon.
So dope. How old are you right now?
I'm 22 right now.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy. So, initially, when you started this, what I know you wanted to be in the entertainment space, but what made you think of a digital marketing agency?
I think it was really more so right place, right time. My business
Mm.
partner that I had at the time, I have a new business partner, and that just happens sometimes in business
You're right. Right.
as
You're used to it. It's something that you know what I'm saying. You went through.
Exactly, exactly. But basically, I had seen, my business partner at the time who he had about, 70,000 followers the last time I had
Mm.
seen him. And when I saw his profile, he had like, 150,000 the next time I
Mm.
saw him. And I was like, how did you grow your Instagram? And then, he told me how he was able to grow his Instagram organically. And he put me on. So then I started growing my Instagram organically, and that's when I had the idea like, oh my god, we can actually help a lot of other people with this to be able to grow their social media. So we started growing accounts, our friends at first, and it kind of expanded to their friends, and word of mouth marketing and through Instagram, social media. So I think in the span of since March, we've had about 150 to 200 clients where we've
Mm.
been able to help them, put them on packages, help them grow organically, do articles and publications, get them verified, etc. So, it's been amazing being able to help, a lot of clients out. We hit the six-figure mark in 6 months. So this is probably,
Wow.
the most, successful business that we've had so far. Now I am in the midst of actually rebranding the company with my new business partner that I'm working with now, but we're about to take it to a whole other level.
Man, that's super dope. So I know in the beginning of the podcast you said the pandemic was really like a blessing for you. Uh, when you started the business, did you have to make any quick pivots, or you just had your game plan? You guys were like, we're just sticking with this no matter what's going on in the world right now, or was there like something you had to switch up, or how did it affect you guys?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had just started. Like, I think we
Mm.
just started our business in March, April. So, really
That's
at the beginning
crazy.
of the pandemic. But it was, like I'm saying, very much so right place, right time because of the fact that when everything got locked down, businesses were freaking out, people were freaking out. They were trying to figure out how to get more attention to themselves, how to be able to get more awareness to their brand. And that's when everyone really started just investing in their social media. We were able to, help companies like Barry's Cafe was one of our clients. So we were growing their
Mm,
social media, other big influencers and artists in the space that were looking to get seen more. So, people really saw the value in online marketing as, there was no traffic, going outside. There's no people looking at a traditional billboard.
mm,
The streets are empty, everybody's inside. So I think, it's very much so right place, right time, in the fact that, so many businesses and influencers saw the necessity of having online marketing. And it was kind of just an easy sale at that point. We just had, a service that had exactly what they needed to be able to grow organically. And, everyone took advantage of it. And that's, really what helped us grow at a really fast rate.
So that's interesting. I like to dive into, specifically the services that you guys offer. So you guys are able to grow social media accounts. Now you don't have to give away all the sauce, but if someone came to you and said, "Okay, how are you going to do that organically? Is it going to involve me pushing out content, creating content with you, or is it something you do on the back end? What does that look like for your customers?"
Yeah, definitely. So at Ace of Spades, our new company with me and Jay, basically we make very customizable plans for every, influencer brand that we're working with. There's certain, tools that need to be put in place and strategies in order to have a successful campaign. So that has to deal with, getting them articles, publications, getting them press.
Mm,
If, they're looking to get verified, to have, that look and feel of, being a celebrity, being verified on social media platforms, we're able to do that through the use of the articles and publications. We grow accounts through the use of, celebrity giveaways is probably one
mm,
of the best organic ways to be able to grow. So, if we have, for example, we had a client, that basically is an artist looking to grow in the artist space. So we actually hosted a giveaway with Jason Derulo. So basically,
mm.
putting that client in a giveaway with Jason Derulo, who's also an artist, and having him grow off of that following is a great way to grow organically. So just really much so like placing the right, client in the right giveaway or in the right strategy to be able to grow them organically in that space is what we specialize in doing.
Got you. And so, like getting in touch with someone like Jason Derulo, is that like based on a relationship you guys had, or like how do you even pull the plugs to do that?
Yeah, definitely. It comes from, having a celebrity bookings agent. So,
Ah, got you.
the bookings agents we work with, we have a team that works with it, and everybody in the marketing space kind of works hand in hand with one another. If we're not hosting a giveaway, then we'll partner with another company that is hosting that giveaway to be able to help and push them with the slots. We've been
Mm,
looking at doing a giveaway with Little Zan because of the relationships that we have with him. So, it's a matter of having, pre-existing relationships with these influencers and celebrities, and also partnering up with other influencers or other agencies that have relations to the influencers as well.
got you. And do you guys provide any other service besides growing the social media following and providing the press and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. Depending on, if it's a business or um, if it's an influencer, we also help with getting, Spotify playlists. So getting,
Mm,
curator playlists to be able to help, bump an artist in, the curator system, get them 100,000 to 1 million plus streams on Spotify.
wow.
We also do have a YouTube partner in place that's able to do, ads on the back end to be able to get that organic traffic, get them on the front page of YouTube. We also have a specialist who helps with SEO for the web development stuff. So being able to, have more articles and or not articles, but blogs written about them on the
Hmm.
website, bumping them up in the SEO rankings. So we offer quite a few services at this
Yeah.
time. It just really depends if it's like an influencer or brand that will make a custom plan for them, and we really plan and strive to work with our clients long term, on a 3 to 6 month plus basis to be able to help grow them, because everyone's always looking for growth. They're always looking for engagement. They're always looking to gain more exposure on social media, get verified, have ongoing press. So really just helping people invest in themselves, their brands, and get seen is what we do.
Dope. And do you guys have like a whole team? Is it just a couple of you guys, or because I know, congratulations, you just got your first office space in LA, so that's pretty dope. So do you got team members in there? How's that looking?
Yeah, definitely. We have a great team, so we've been expanding for sure. So, it's me, Jay, we have Irene as well as our assistant. We have Diego, who's super awesome and killing it in sales, who's been just making, great revenue for the company. We have about 150 applications right now for people who are looking to be on our team.
Wow.
So we've been filtering through that at the moment, interviewing people. It's been pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting. We have a really great team going. We have a team of content creators to get the job done when it comes to any photo shoots, videography. We have graphic designers. So we have a great team so far, and expanding, but really selective right now of who we're bringing on as
Yeah.
partners and individuals.
Dope, dope. So I know you said you guys are in the process of rebranding the company. So let's just say this time next year, where do you guys see yourself at? What are some like benchmarks you want to hit? What are some goals, or what are some other creative things you want to add to the business?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're actually in the process, and this is very early. I can talk about it though. Um,
Okay, I was gonna say you don't have to give away everything, but
No, I'm actually in the process of starting my own management company. So,
Nice.
due to having, so many relationships with influencers, that have been, my close friends, etc. And, just seeing that they need help in terms of management, connecting to brands. I have, influencer friends that, on the low end with 100,000 followers and on the high end, 8 million followers. So, seeing platforms like TikTok and how, brands have been able to leverage it and how influencers are able to grow so quickly on here. We really want to be able to have, a management company in place to be able to help, these influencers connect with these brands and help them grow organically with our agency. So, kind
Hmm.
of our agency and the management company working hand in hand together to, just be able to, take it to a whole different level.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny because I had somebody on in the earlier episodes. He owns a TikTok agency in New York, and he's doing very well out there. I'll say that, say the least. So the space is, definitely there's room for growth. Definitely room for people to come in and help a lot of these I say influencers out for sure.
Definitely. You're gonna have to connect me with him for sure.
No, I can. That's easy. I can do that. He's doing very well. He's super cool dude. So we'll definitely talk about that. Outside the podcast. But I wanted to transition a little bit into you being a young lady in the space, and maybe some of the difficulties that you had to overcome, and some of the challenges that you had to face. And maybe some suggestions that you would give out there to other young ladies looking to be entrepreneurs and get in this space as well.
Definitely, that's a great question. Having being a female, minority has
Hmm.
definitely been an advantage and a disadvantage sometimes. Some people in business don't take you as seriously. Sometimes with talking to investors, they want to take you out to dinner to talk business, but they want to take you to business really to dinner more so for
Right.
something else. So
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, and when it comes to being a female in this space, it's very refreshing. But to a lot of people, because there's not that many people in the marketing space that are CEO boss babes out here.
Yeah.
So I mean that gives you an advantage, and I mean it has its advantages and disadvantages sometimes. But I would just really recommend to other female entrepreneurs who are looking to start their own thing is really just to start.
Hmm.
Don't let your you being a female and traditional ways of people thinking that women should be like in the kitchen, etc., really limit you from
Right.
being able to start something amazing. And just being smart. I think women also have a very good intuition, so always trusting your gut and going with that feeling in you, and being able to speak up for yourself when you don't feel comfortable about something. So I would say it comes with time, and it comes with time, it comes with experience, and being able to talk to other big people in this space as well. But always having that respect for yourself at the end of the day, and knowing your worth is
Mm.
probably the biggest things, because you're in those meeting rooms for a reason. It's not that
Hmm.
you're not just there to be a pretty face. You're there because you have an opinion, you have a voice, you have something of value to add to the table. And just to not forget that, just if you're in the all boys club, really.
I love that. I love that. Do you have other like women around you that are entrepreneurs that are maybe your mentors or uh, people maybe you're the same age as you that you go reach out to for advice and whatnot?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Dope.
I would say more so I have a lot of, fellow female entrepreneur friends. All of my friends are really boss babes. They're all killing it. They're
Mm,
starting their own
that's dope.
companies. I have Scarlett, she has her own events company, and we're actually partnering up and working together on quite a few projects. She's also an artist. She's a boss babe and she's been killing it out here. I have Joanna as well, starting her own reality TV show. So, she's been
Wow.
planning that in the midst of COVID with everything going on. I have my other friend Hannah, who's raising 2 million in funding for a app in the fashion space that she's been building. So all of my associates and all my friends are female boss babes. So
That's what's
we
up.
very much so like stick together when it comes to things and work hard, play hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a beautiful thing to surround yourself with like-minded people, people that have, the same goals. Maybe you guys don't have the same goals, but you guys have that motivated mentality about you guys. I think it's just a beautiful thing to see. Like maybe your friend might be in a different space, but they're killing it over there, and it's just like motivates you and pushes you to go harder in your own space. I know I can definitely say that about my circle. I got some of my friends that are like doing amazing things, and every time they hit a milestone, I'm like, man, that's amazing. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, no, it's amazing being surrounded, around people that are doing amazing things. Having, friends who, have received, 2 million in funding. I just have a friend who got 100 million in funding.
Wow.
It's amazing to be able to be a part of the come up, and you're the next one in line. Basically,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You
yeah.
put that good energy out and that good support. It's gonna come right back to you. So it's all in due in time. Kind of wanted to start to wrap this thing up with a last couple more questions. I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion about how entrepreneurs, business owner could transition into 2020 effectively? 2020 for a lot of business owners and even just people in general has been crazy and hectic. But what would you suggest um, for them to transition in 2021 better? Maybe some of the things that you're doing in your own life to transition and make 2021 even better.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, this year was, had its ups and downs for sure. We
Yeah.
thought we are going to get out of lockdown in 2 weeks and then got back to lockdown. And, especially in LA, it's been a roller coaster for sure. We're
Crazy.
still, figuring it out and, seeing what's going to happen. But I mean, I would very much so suggest to anybody in, 2021 is to really, really think about, their personal influence online on their social
Mm.
media, and really prioritizing and investing in their online marketing, because we are really moving more so into a digital age and
Yep.
everybody's online, everybody's on your phone all day long, and it's the best way to be able to reach people at this point. So I would very much so, recommend to any individual or any, company to really invest in their social media, to take the time to really strategize to be able to reach people online, because by being online, it's not just a local thing. It's not just, if somebody, sees your shop, from across the street. Being, online is global reach at that point. So
Mm.
really being able to create that global reach, that global presence for yourself online is one of the most powerful things you can do, because at the end of the day, by having more influence, comes more, responsibility, more power as well,
Mm.
and, conversion at the end of the day. The reason
Mm.
why Kylie Jenner just made, $585 million this year,
Crazy.
is the fact that she has such a strong online presence and fan base, that when it comes to her 250 million plus followers that she has online, she has that conversion rate that translates into dollars. So I would say for any individual or for any company, in 2021, to really focus on building their online presence, growing it organically, being able to create creative strategies to have retention and to be able to really convert those followers into dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. That's dope. Um, yeah, I mean, we can start to wrap this thing up. I always have, before we wrap this thing up, always have my guests leave the audience with one last piece of advice. I know you've been dropping gems left and right. Um, but if you can drop one last gem for the audience, what would it be? And we can end it on that.
Definitely. Um, I mean, I would say my last gem drop. I like that.
It can be. I always tell people it can be anything. It can be social media, marketing related. It can be life. It can be business. You know what I'm saying? It can be boss lady related. Anything you want.
Definitely. I would just say, keep, to everyone who's, really in the entrepreneur space or really just trying to figure it out, just to try out as many things as possible.
Mm,
Get comfortable with failing, get comfortable with learning, by the hard school of knocks, and, just, keep on really just, keep on building, and eventually something's going to hit and you're going to find what you love, and to not be afraid to take a more, untraditional path, because it's a lot more fun along the way. You'll make a lot more
yeah.
friends and you'll learn a lot more. I have a lot of experience, being 22 versus a lot of people, in their 30s, because I've
Yeah.
failed so many times and I've started so many companies. But, at the end of the day, you are going to have that reward. So just to, keep on for sure.
Yeah. Boom. I love that. I love that. Where can people follow you? Where can people find you and your company?
Definitely. So you can find me at Sophia Camille Collier on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I'm starting to get into Twitter now. And you can find my company Ace of Spades Marketing on Instagram. We just started the page yesterday. Um,
Okay.
and we'll just stay tuned. We have a lot of things coming with the management company, and I'm excited to kill 2021.
Man, I love that. I love that. A lot of great information. With that being said, I really appreciate your time. And it's your boy Chris, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.